The Aftershow Mayhem, Moose, Martians, and Madness. The final chord of New Jerusalem Tonight was still echoing across the infinite golden metropolis, vibrating through the crystalline pavement and rippling up into the pearly skies. The 5 members of the band stood center stage, catching their breath in the warm, ambient light. Aman stood at the front, microphone still in hand, his arm wrapped around his wife, Karen. To his left, his younger half-brother, Chiyō, was unstrapping his glowing guitar, looking over at their older cousin, D.A., who was wiping his brow with a towel. And just behind them, sitting proudly behind his makeshift percussion rig of overturned crates and a smuggled cymbal, was Blake Amon's best friend, the large-eyed green Martian with 0 biological relatives, but a whole universe of family right here on stage. Beyond the edge of the golden stage lay an ocean of spectators. It wasn't thousands. It wasn't millions. It was literally billions of angels, saints, and celestial beings stretching out as far as eternity could see, their wings shimmering like crushed diamonds, their voices unified in a roar of applause that sounded like thunder wrapped in velvet. "Man," D.A. said, leaning against Chiyō's shoulder, looking out at the endless crowd. "Look at that, little cousin. Billions of them. I don't care how many eons we got up here, I will never get used to that sight." "Me neither, big cuz," Chiyō chuckled, adjusting his guitar stand. "I thought playing for a crowded arena on the old earth was loud. This makes a stadium feel like a quiet library." Aman squeezed Karen's shoulder, looking at her with a gentle grin. "You did amazing tonight, honey." "We all did," Karen smiled back, resting her head against his chest, although I think Blake's honk technique took the spotlight. "Hey!" Blake called out from his crates, waving his drumsticks in the air, his big, black alien eyes blinking rapidly. "The honk is an art form. It requires precision. It requires soul. It requires crash, bang, triple tap, boom." Before Blake could finish his sentence, a massive, chaotic sound erupted from the stage wings. A towering, rotund, elderly African-American angel, wearing a white robe that was somehow already wrinkled, a crooked halo hovering over his head like an unstable saucer, and bright blue-stained lower legs, came barreling out onto the hardwood. It was George Garfield, better known across the celestial realms as Mr. Moose. Mr. Moose was carrying a gigantic, wildly oversized golden trophy that nobody had requested, 3 spare microphone stands, and an armful of glittery confetti cannons. He wasn't running. He was more like tumbling forward, with momentum he couldn't control. "Out of the way. Hot fudge coming through. Watch out, watch out," Mr. Moose hollered, his voice carrying the distinct, gravelly, self-deprecating twang of a classic late-night comedy legend. Trip. His foot caught the edge of Chiyō's amplifier cable. Mr. Moose went airborne for a fraction of a second, his wings flapping frantically like a confused turkey before he crashed straight into Blake's percussion setup. Crates went flying. The smuggled cymbal flew into the air, spun like a tossed coin, and landed squarely on Mr. Moose's head with a loud clang. The billions of angels in the audience went completely silent for half a second before erupting into a deafening roar of laughter. Mr. Moose sat there on the floor, surrounded by broken wooden crates, the cymbal sitting on his head like a metallic beret, his halo spinning sideways on his left ear. He slowly turned his head, looked directly forward, breaking the fourth wall, staring straight out of the universe and right at the camera/viewers. He pulled at his robe collar with 2 fingers, grimacing in that classic, iconic fashion. "I tell you folks, I get no respect." "No respect at all," Mr. Moose announced straight to the viewers, nodding his head sharply. "I come up here to present the Best Concert in Eternity award, and the stage flooring files a formal complaint against my boots. I tell my wife, 'Hey, I'm presenting an award in front of billions of angels tonight.' You know what she says? She says, 'Don't forget to take out the celestial recycling on your way back, fathead.' No respect. I get no respect from nobody." Blake jumped up from behind his ruined drum kit. Instead of being upset, his big black eyes went wide with theatrical slapstick outrage. He did a classic wild Jerry Lewis double take, his knees knocking together, his arms flailing like windmills, his mouth opening into an exaggerated O shape as he made high-pitched frantic noises. "Lady!" Blake shrieked in a voice that went up 3 octaves, pointing an alien finger at Mr. Moose. "Look at my drums. Look at my crates, my magnificent bespoke wooden box masterpiece. Destroyed. Obliterated. Flattened like a pancake on a Sunday morning. Giving it the old hey lay, hoy hoy." Blake grabbed his own ears, flopped his elbows, and did a ridiculous rubber-legged dance around the fallen angel, stumbling over his own feet and landing flat on his back right next to Moose. Mr. Moose slowly turned his head to look down at the green Martian lying beside him. He looked back at the viewers again, adjusting his crooked halo. "Look at this guy," Mr. Moose said directly to the camera, gesturing at Blake. I step on stage for 5 seconds, and I land next to a giant, walking, lime-flavored gummy bear. I tell ya, this guy's got more energy than a toddler on a sugar rush. He's bouncing around like a pogo stick with a loose spring. Meanwhile, look at Aman over here. Aman's out here lead singing. His legendary dad Amin's got the whole main franchise going. The whole family's got massive story arcs. What do I got? I got a halo that catches satellite TV and a pair of blue shins. Why doesn't Mr. Moose have a franchise? I asked the producers for my own show. They told me I could star in a documentary about clumsiness. I tell ya, no respect. Aman stepped forward, holding his microphone, practically crying with laughter alongside Karen, Chiyō, and D.A. Mr. Moose, Aman called out, helping the heavy older man to his feet while Chiyō helped Blake up. Are you all right? That was a crazy drop. All right? Mr. Moose huffed, dusting off his wrinkled robe, which immediately caught on a microphone stand, causing the stand to spin around and smack him softly on the back. I'm terrific. My back just self-adjusted. I haven't cracked a vertebra like that since the 2nd century. I tell ya, Aman, your band is great, but your stage manager needs a slap on the wrist. I walked backstage earlier and tried to get a glass of water. The water pitcher tried to dodge me. Even the inanimate objects around here don't want to give me no respect. Blake bounced back up on his feet like he was made of springs, flapping his hands wildly. Water? You want water? I'll get you water. I'm the best water getter in the entire galaxy. Observe. Blake sprinted toward the back of the stage, where a large table held jugs of fruit punch and water. He grabbed a tray loaded with 5 tall glasses, did a heroic, dramatic spin, and immediately slipped on a stray piece of confetti. Wah la 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 la, Blake yelled, his legs churning in place like a cartoon character running on ice. He slid across 30 feet of golden stage floor, balancing the tray on his forehead, his big alien eyes spinning in opposite directions. He slid directly between D.A.'s legs, popped up like a jack-in-the-box, and landed right in front of Mr. Moose without spilling a single drop. Ta-da-a-a, Blake squeaked, making a goofy, cross-eyed face, wiggling his long fingers under his chin. Service with a smile. Flawless execution. Hey, Flavin. Mr. Moose looked at the tray on Blake's head, then looked straight into the camera, blinking slowly. Would you look at this kid? Mr. Moose said to the viewers, pointing at Blake. He slides 30 feet on his stomach and delivers drinks like an intergalactic waiter on roller skates. Me? I try to walk 3 inches across a flat carpet and I look like a bowling ball rolling down a staircase. Last week I tried to do a graceful bow in front of the elders. I bowed so low my halo fell off, rolled down the aisle, and landed on a golden harp. The harp started playing itself out of sheer embarrassment. I tell ya, I get no respect. D.A. bent over, clutching his stomach as he laughed so hard he could barely breathe. 'Cause D.A. wheezed to Aman, I swear, putting these two on stage together is a hazard to public safety. My ribs are hurting. They're a 2-man wrecking crew. Chiyō laughed, picking up his guitar before Blake or Moose could accidentally step on it. Karen smiled, stepping closer to Mr. Moose. It's wonderful to see you, George, but what were you trying to bring us before the big entrance? Oh, the award, Mr. Moose remembered. He bent down to pick up the gigantic golden trophy he had dropped. As he leaned over, his elbow bumped the confetti cannon he'd brought out. Boom! A giant cloud of sparkling gold and purple glitter blasted directly into Mr. Moose's face, coating his gray beard and eyebrows until he looked like a frosted holiday ornament. Mr. Moose didn't even flinch. He just stood up slowly, covered in glitter, looked dead at the camera, and pulled at his collar. Tough crowd. Even the props are taking shots at me, Mr. Moose told the viewers, wiping a cloud of glitter off his nose. I tell ya, I bought this confetti cannon off a guy who swore it was top of the line. I asked him, is it safe? He says, sure, as long as you don't stand in front of it, behind it, or near it. I get no respect. I came out here looking like a distinguished elder. Now I look like a disco ball that fell down a chimney. Blake gasped dramatically, clutching his chest, doing his classic Jerry Lewis exaggerated cry. Oh no. He's sparkly. He's shining. He's a glitter monster. Run for your lives, everybody. The glitter is taking over. Blake started running in tight circles around Aman, Karen, Chiyō, and D.A., waving his arms frantically over his head, uttering high-pitched gibberish noises. Nyuk 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 hoi hoi Flavin, before tripping over his own shadow and falling backward onto a stack of soft stage cushions. He popped his head out from the cushions, grinning wildly with his tongue sticking out. I'm okay. The cushions saved my life. What a miracle. Mr. Moose walked over to the edge of the stage, looking down at the billions of cheering, laughing angels in the front rows. He pointed a finger at himself, then turned to face the camera again. You see these angels out here? Mr. Moose asked the viewers, adjusting his glittering halo. Billions of them. All of them singing, all of them cheering. I walked out to say hello earlier before the show started. I waved to a group of angels in the third row. You know what they did? They asked me if I was the guy who holds the curtain rope. I said, no, I'm George Garfield. I'm a legend. They said, great, George, can you move 2 feet to the left? You're blocking our view of Aman's hair. No respect at all. Aman gets a hairstylist. I get a breeze that blows my halo into low orbit. Aman stepped up beside Mr. Moose, wrapping an arm around the big man's shoulders, laughing warmly. George, you know we love you. The whole city loves you. Sure, you love me, Mr. Moose muttered with a wry grin, looking back at Aman. That's why you put me on stage after the main concert. You guys sing 6 hit songs, get a standing ovation from the entire universe, and then send me out here to clean up the confetti with my knees. I tell ya, your father Amin's main series gets all the epic drama and action, you guys get all the hit singles, and what do I get? I get to be the guy who falls over a bass speaker. Right on cue, Mr. Moose took 1 step backward, bumped his heel against the edge of a monitor speaker, lost his balance, and did a slow-motion, majestic tilt backward. Blake saw it happening and sprinted across the stage like a cartoon superhero, making loud whoosh noises with his mouth. Never fear. Blake is here. Blake dove under Mr. Moose to catch him. But instead of catching the heavy angel, Blake simply acted as a soft green slide. Mr. Moose slid right over Blake's back, landing comfortably on a pile of oversized velvet stage props, while Blake went tumbling head over heels into a basket of soft tambourines. Jingle, 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 clang! Blake poked his head out of the tambourine basket. 2 tambourines stuck on his arms like oversized bracelets, one balanced on his head like a hat. He blinked his huge black eyes, looked at the crowd, and made a hilarious, goofy face, shrugging his shoulders. I meant to do that. It's the new fashion trend. Tambourine couture. Hoy, hoy, Flavin! Mr. Moose sat up in the velvet props, tossing a stray piece of tinsel off his shoulder. He looked straight back at the camera again, pulling his collar. I tell you, folks, Mr. Moose said to the viewers, this green kid is my hero. He turns a simple fall into a percussion solo. I tell my doctor, Doctor, every time I fall down, I hear music. The doctor says, that's not music, George, that's your joints playing a symphony. No respect. My own doctor gives me material. The billions of angels in the audience were practically rolling in the aisles, their laughter sounding like a celestial waterfall. D.A. walked over and offered a hand to lift Mr. Moose up, while Chiyō pulled Blake out of the tambourines. All right, D.A. laughed, wiping tears of mirth from his eyes. Mr. Moose, man, you gotta stay on stage with us for the encore. We can't let you leave after a comedy performance like that. Encore? Mr. Moose asked, eyes widening as he looked back at the camera. You hear this, folks? They want me in the encore. Last time I was in an encore, I tried to play the triangle. I missed the triangle and hit myself in the knuckle. I was the only guy in heaven with a swollen thumb from a percussion instrument. But hey, if the people want Moose, Moose is gonna give 'em Moose. Blake bounced over, putting his arm around Mr. Moose's waist, or as far around as his alien arms could reach, and struck a goofy pose. We're a team now. The Green Machine and the Big Supreme. We're gonna take this show on the road. All across New Jerusalem. 2 shows a day. Matinees on eternity afternoons. Mr. Moose looked down at Blake, then back at the camera, raising one eyebrow. A team, huh? Mr. Moose chuckled. A green Martian and an old guy with blue shins. We look like a walking salad with a side of dressing. But hey, as long as I get some respect out of the deal, I'm in. Aman lifted his microphone one last time, looking out at the endless glowing crowd of billions, then back at his family, his wife Karen, his brother Chiyō, his cousin D.A., his best friend Blake, and the legendary Mr. Moose. New Jerusalem, Aman shouted into the mic, his voice echoing with joy across the eternal city. Give it up one more time for George Garfield. The one, the only Mr. Moose. The audience erupted into a wave of cheers, light, and applause that shook the heavens. Mr. Moose stood center stage, beaming with a wide, genuine smile, taking a bow. And of course, as he bowed, his halo slid off his head one last time and landed perfectly around Blake's antenna. Blake made a silly, bug-eyed face, crossed his eyes, and yelled, I'm a lamp now! Hey, Flavin! Mr. Moose looked straight into the camera, pulled his collar one final time, and winked at the viewers. I tell you, folks, maybe I get a little respect after all.